I worked in the hosiery industry. There were 6 girls in our family, and all 6 of us went to work at the same place. We never worked there at the same time, but we all had the same job.
I quilted for several years, and then they got a border machine in and asked me if I would be interested in learning to do that, because you had to make your own borders back then. You didn't have a machine like they do now.
And then I went from Century to Western Carolina, and I did a little bit of everything there. It was a smaller company, and I did a little bit of everything.
My first job was to put out yarn to the machines, yarn handler. And as I'd done that for a while, I had somebody tell me, say, Danny, why don't you just learn how to work on the machines?
I was working in the plant at that time on night shift doing some cable. And then after that, my supervisor think that I have ability to do more than just work in the plant. So he asked me to go join a group called Engineering Service.
It was always changing. The whole 40 years, it always changed. I did a little bit of everything while I was there, enjoyed every bit of it, but it was time to go when I left.
Dad would send me and my sister after we got out of school over there to hoe the cotton. Sometimes it's the grass that we chopped out more than we left. But we did that, and then when it came up big enough, we picked the cotton.
I have to be to work at 6 o'clock in the morning. I work from 6 until 3:30 for 4 days a week and 4 hours on Friday. So that makes a 40-hour week.
I made springs, I punched the holes in bed rails and assembled bed rails. We got into foam. I actually have poured foam, I have cut foam, I have loaded trucks, I have done anything that you can imagine that's being done in a furniture component supply company.
I thought I'd rather plow as to learn this job, but you'd be surprised how good you can get to it. I could just pick a sock up off my lap, slam it up there and go across.
And our job is try to come up with something that you would be interested in. And that's what I love about our company. We stay on top of that.
I got into using the scraps to make furniture. A certain way you had to do that to get the stuff to line up. And I could take what scraps they had before I retired, you know, and get pieces off of it that would line up and work with the furniture. Of course, the colors had to match pretty well too. But some of them, the lines weren't all the same. So I'd use their scraps and make a sofa or a chair or whatever.
I like the people, for one thing, and I like the work. It may sound monotonous to some people, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed taking dictation and describing it back. I felt like I was accomplishing a little something.
The upside is I get to learn something new every day. Okay. The downside is it's a little hard, and it's hard work. I mean, you have to use your mind. You have to use your body physically. But I enjoy it. Keeps my mind going.
I spent a lot of my time planning for what our next steps were going to be. You can't just look at the present, you've got to be planning for the future.
I was raised in Vail, and it's a wonderful little community, and I loved it, but I didn't want to live there the rest of my life. So that's when I came to Hickory. Got a job and have been here ever since. Graduated from Lenoir in 1942.
And I want to see like a bigger picture. How can I help them more? How can I help the company more. And I never thought I would sit, you know, in the lab, get to dissect an equipment, get to build a connector, get to, you know, put cable together to make it work.
It was fun after I got used to it and started knowing what I was doing, looping, getting them holes right. Because if you didn't, it would make the sock where it wasn't even. And it'd be a mess. They'd have to throw it away. You had to get them in the right holes.
3 of the older sisters, after they had kids and was at home, there's such a demand for loopers that we lived in a big house, and they bought 3 loopers and put it upstairs, and they worked upstairs at home. The fella would bring work from Hickory, he'd carry it up the steps, and then he'd back up to a window and throw it out the window and load it up when he got through.
If I hadn't gotten into textiles, I wouldn't have met a lot of nice people. Been all over the world working on machines. It's just unique to see different cultures do different things, different ways.
I'm around people all day, and the people that I work with are friendly. Most of them are happy-go-lucky, so it's not a bad place to work at all.